Alright, welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's pre-orders, and they are live. And obviously, the big pre-orders this week are the Christmas Battleforce box sets for Warhammer 40,000. If you haven't checked out the breakdown I did on each of these box sets, highly recommend you check it out. Did everything from how to build a playable army, where to expand, and then also what kind of value is locked inside. And, basically around 35 to 40% off on these. So right off the bat, we see the Gotrek's Gurnisson's collection. So this is a collection of the Gotrek books. Very cool that they bundled them all together. 160 bucks for those, so a little pricey. I guess maybe you're saving a couple bucks over just buying them individually. But it does come in the big sleeve for all of them. Collector's edition, limited. So if you are after this, you're going to want to pick it up before it is too late, as these do more often than not sell out. So first of our Christmas Battleforce bundles, we had the Elimination Maniple. So this is really good if you're going to be playing Adeptus Mechanicus and you're going for the Mars Forgeworld, because that is Call's Forgeworld, and he is a beast. This is a pretty good starter overall. Decent amount of value in this, and could go with the Start Collecting, although it is a little bit on the redundant side, or the Vanguard rather. But 210 for all these Christmas boxes. I think this one right here is the absolute best, the Imperial Knights Chainbreaker Lance. Just because you don't often see Imperial Knights bundled, there is no combat patrol or anything like that available. So the only time you can really get a deal on Knights is when they're bundled in something like this. So I think this will be the first one to sell out, and probably the most likely to sell out. This is, in my opinion, the best box. You basically buy two of these, you have a full Knight army, and then you can go from there. But you're basically ready to go right off the bat. Great deal, great savings. And again, the potential savings on this is essentially compared to no savings, because there is no combat patrol or Start Collecting box or anything like that. So very, very good deal. Very, very good army right there. And then scrolling down here, we have the Thousand Sons Court of the Crimson King as well. So obviously you're not going to buy multiples of these, because Magnus is a big chunk of the actual value in this. But they did include 2 squads of 10 Rubric Marines, which is awesome, because typically with the more recent boxes, they've been lacking on the Rubric Marines. So this goes really, really well with the Combat Patrol, and honestly is a great setup. Again, not really going to want more than one of these, obviously, because Magnus is the linchpin. And then essentially same thing as well with the Death Guard box. Mortarion, obviously the linchpin of the box set, taking up the majority of the value in here. But 2 Plague Marine squads, and then also some Terminators as well. Nice box, good setup right here. And again, this couples really, really nicely with the Combat Patrol as well. Combat Patrol is loaded with Poxwalkers, and then also has some Plague Marines and a couple characters. This has a couple more Plague Marines, no Poxwalkers. Put it all together, you got a pretty freaking nice starting army. Maybe throw in a couple of bloat drones, maybe a little bit of artillery, and you're probably set. On to the Imperial Fists, the Bastion Strike Force. So with these Space Marine box sets, they're actually not bad for all Space Marines. You just lose some of the value with the special characters, and in this one, the upgrade sprues as well. So you're going to have a couple of upgrade sprues that you wouldn't use if you're going to play anything other than Fists, and then obviously Tor Garradon as well. But 3 squads of heavy intercessors, I'm not after them, but if you were looking for a bundle of heavy intercessors, this is a great price. I think they run 65 a piece on their own for 5 of them. So right there with the intercessors is basically the price of the box set. And then you get the aggressors, the character, the upgrades. So potential use in other Space Marine armies, but the real value obviously is playing Fists. And then probably the only army you're ever going to want this many heavy intercessors in is probably Fists as well. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Also, there has been a bunch of speculation based on the box art of these. Clearly, the Imperial Fists and the Raven Guard box art is different. So there's speculation, obviously, that they are going to be getting a new codex. So there's potential for a new codex coming down the line as well, and that box art's kind of taken from that. Again, full speculation. I don't have any inside info or anything. Next, we have the Raven Guard Raven Strike Battalion. So this one's not bad also. Now, Reavers are not a very popular choice, as they are just a little bit overcosted. If they were in the troops category, that would completely change. I think people would take Reavers much, much more often. But in elites, there's just too much other good stuff for better prices. Overall, pretty nice box set. I really like the idea of 2 Invictors putting pressure on your opponent right off the bat. The snipers are great as well, especially with the free las fusil upgrades. Not bad having a psyker, but honestly, the full boss librarian is just not the choice in my opinion. You're much better off just having a regular librarian. I do like the idea of this box set. Shrike is obviously very, very good as well. This is a nice setup. Could you use this for other non-Raven Guard armies? This one only includes the decal sheet. It doesn't actually come with the upgrades, just because none of the guys in the set need like the specific shoulder pads or anything. So there's actually less dedicated stuff in this set than the Imperial Fist one. In this set, it's just Shrike. Now, Shrike is super cool. You could do an awesome conversion with him and make him into a Smash Captain or something like that. You could just not use him at all. And this is still a nice bundle set if you were going to pick up the individual components. But if you're not after a full boss librarian or Shrike, a lot of the value in this box set goes away. So got to be making sure that you're not just ending up with a bunch of models you're not going to use, or you do plan on, you know, getting rid of those. On to the Adeptus Sororitas. So we did see a sort of one-off recently with a Nundum army, which is basically just, you know, when you have Morvenn Vahl and then you have maxed out Paragon Warsuits, 3 squads of 3. It's essentially 1,000 points right off the bat. So for a 2,000 point game, one more squad of them and you're at 2,000 points if you give them all multi-meltas. I'm sorry, 1,000 points if you give them all multi-meltas. So we just saw that list show up. Keep in mind though, that's not a typical list and that's not typical results you're going to see. It's not a bad list or anything like that, but those guys knew they were going to be playing each other ahead of time. They both took some kind of like threat overload kind of jank list and then, you know, kind of matched up. So don't necessarily go off that one result, especially on the like metadata thing, and say, oh, this is the best orc army you can make, or this is the best sister army you can make, because it's not necessarily the case. Now, this actual box set, though, I think is really nice. It comes with a little bit of everything you want. Obviously, it's nice to have a sister squad. 2 Paragon Warsuits is nice. A lot of people will do 1 Paragon Warsuits with multi-meltas and then 1 of the heavy weapon squad with multi-meltas. I actually prefer this way. I think this is a little bit better. It's up to you though, obviously subjective. Sometimes it's nice to have a little different ways to deal the punch. I like the mobility of these and I like the dual purpose as well, and they go great with Morvenn Vahl. And then on top of that, the Sacrosancts, they're pretty good. Now, they don't benefit as much from some of like the more recent rules like Armor of Contempt, because they have the shields. They don't get the Armor of Contempt benefit. So they kind of have like their pluses and minuses. They're not that expensive and they are pretty good though. So overall, 1 unit of them is pretty nice. Would you buy 2 of this box set? Definitely not, because you would have 1 too many Paragon Warsuits and duplicates of Morvenn Vahl. But, however, this set right here goes perfect with the Adeptus Sororitas Combat Patrol. Arguably, you could do 2 combat patrols and then this, and you have a full 2,000 point army, and it's a really good 2,000 point army. So honestly, I think this set is great. Very, very nice set right here. I think this one could potentially sell out. We'll see. But I think realistically, the Adeptus Custodes is the next most likely to sell out. This one is awesome. Obviously, the actual Combat Patrol box is pretty good, but it has 10 Sisters of Silence in it. They're not bad or anything like that, but most armies are going to take like 5 of them max. So they take up a lot of the value too, because the Sisters of Silence, they're little models. They come in 5s, and I want to say it's $55 for the 5 of them. So a lot of the value in that set is in the Sisters, and one of those squads you're probably not even going to use. As where with this set, you know, it has a little bit of everything. It has a ton of guard. There's a really good starting point for an army. Every army probably going to take Trajan. He's not as good as he was, but pretty freaking good. You're going to want at least 9 Custodian Guard. This comes with 15, so you have some options to make shield captains or Vaxillas, etc. The bikes are still really good. The Terminators are a little meh for now. You could take one as a Vaxilla, you could take the other 2 as, you know, characters, or you could take the squad of them. Unfortunately, Terminators are actually pretty good in the meta right now, but the Adeptus Custodes Terminators are just not up to par. So hopefully they'll get like a little bit of a buff or maybe a points decrease in the near future and they'll be viable again. Right now, they're kind of just meh. The models are great though, and everybody knows that with Warhammer, especially 40k, that everybody has their kind of day in the sun. So even if something's not good now, it doesn't mean don't get it, don't build it, don't paint it or play with it, because one day down the line, it's going to be good again or for the first time. But the truth is right now, they're not amazing. This set though, absolutely amazing. I think this will definitely sell out. This is going to be a straight up winner. Most people are looking to buy, you know, at least 2 squads of Custodians and a squad of bikes right off the bat. So that's basically $180 right there. You slap Trajan on top, and that's like $220. So you basically get the Terminators and one Custodes squad for free. Sign me up. Yes, please. That's a great deal. I think this one will sell out pretty quick. And then on to the Escher Cutters. So these are super cool. The new necromunda bikes for Escher. Very, very nice. I'm looking forward to seeing what the community does with these and what kind of conversions are done, because these things are awesome. I suspect we're going to see a bunch of like chaos dudes, orcs, all kinds of cool stuff on these. And honestly, they'll probably be pretty good in necromunda as well. We also got the necromunda dice set. You guys know I'm not a big fan of Games Workshop's dice, more like the price of the dice. I think they're overpriced, but if you were going to pick up some dice, the Necromunda dice or Blood Bowl dice or something like that are the ones to go with, because they're actually unique. Even though these are all 6-siders, they don't just have like regular pips on them. So again, if you're going to go with some dice, at least get the ones you can't just replace with just your average D6. And then we have the Vehicle Gang Tactics cards. It is important to note, these are the Vehicle Tactics cards for in the Ash Waste. There's also the regular Tactics cards available as well. Alright, so scrolling on down here, next we have the regular Gang Tactics cards. So these are the ones you're going to want if you're playing in the Underhive. These are the ones you're going to want if you're playing in the Ash Waste. Then we also see the Warhammer Quest Cursed City Nemesis expansion. It is important to note that you do need the previous expansion and the box game to use this, and there's no miniatures included. This is the final of the Warhammer Quest Cursed City expansions, and then Games Workshop is going to permanently stricken it from the records of embarrassment forever, and hopefully they'll replace it with something that's exponentially better, like all the other Quest games. If they basically just take Blackstone Fortress and then make it fantasy, it would be amazing. So Games Workshop, I know you're listening, just do that. Pretty good deal here though, obviously, but doesn't include the miniatures, so it's kind of like meh. So the Technoarcheologist finally offered individually. So this is really cool, obviously, seeing him individually for sale. He has not been available for a while. He was only available in a Blackstone Fortress expansion and then Combat Arena. And he is very good in game terms. So probably if you don't have this guy already, this is like the opportunity of a lifetime to finally be able to pick him up. Very, very cool model, very good in game turns, and super cool to see him available individually. And then we got a couple of the books here. Hammer of Sigmar, First Forge, 27 bucks hardback. Heirs of the Emperor hardback, 30 bucks. Hollow Ground paperback, 16 bucks. I'm sure there's some winners in this set here. We also see Soul Drinkers, Omnibus 2, 18 bucks. Sanguinius, the Great Angel hardback, 19 bucks. So if you did miss out on the special edition, 19 bucks, and you can actually read the hardback one. And then we got a couple of the releases from last week. The Sonari Enlightener, Rotten Ruin book by itself. The Curseling, Eye of Tzeentch. Some Blood Bowl stuff right here, some dice, a couple of the war bands from the individual set, the Dungeon Bowl expansion, lots of good stuff here. Sundered Fate coming out as well, the warcry expansion. Cannot wait to get my copy of that. And then also Gnarlwood Watch Camp. And then we've got all the Sigmar boxes. And again, I did a breakdown for all the Sigmar boxes. There's definitely some amazing value in here. Great way to expand if you picked up Dominion and you want to expand your kruleboyz, or picked up Dominion and you want to expand your Stormcast as well. Really, really nice boxes overall. Very pleased with these. Again, check out those breakdowns for value and also viability as an army. And then last but not least, down here at the bottom, we do see that the Gloomspite Gitch Stampeding Squiggleanch is sold out. And that does not surprise me. Honestly, no longer available in the United States, which means they are gone for good. This one was super popular. Obviously, the name is cool. Everybody loves Squigs. And it was basically half of a 2,000 point army right off the bat. So not surprised to see this gone. If you did miss out on it, I'm sure there's going to be some copies out there in local friendly game stores. So check around locally or check out the forums. If you did miss this, there's still going to be a possibility to get your hands on it. I know some people are probably going to be bummed about this if they did wait. But all the other ones still available. Last year, it took months for the Christmas boxes to sell out into like February, March of the following year. This year, we're already seeing some sold out. So is that going to reflect on 40K as well? And when I say some, it's just this one. But are the 40K boxes going to go the same way too? Probably, at least some of them. Probably Custodes and also the Imperial Knights. So not bad here. Some really nice stuff right here. Obviously, a lot of people watching how they spend those last minute Christmas dollars to make sure they get a hold of these presents. GW has said that as long as you have ordered everything ahead of time and got it pre-ordered, you will get it in time for Christmas. So that is obviously good. So I did just double check, and on GW's website, the Christmas boxes for 40K are all restricted to one per order. So maybe I have a little bit more time to pick these up. But that's it for this week's video. But that's it for today's video. Let me know what you're most excited about. Which of these Christmas boxes are you picking up for yourself? Which ones are you getting for a loved one or friend as a gift? Always like to hear back from you guys. Appreciate all the positivity. Just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody in advance. But basically, as a little year in review, I plan on doing a little video talking about the growth of the channel, where it's headed. I got another giveaway planned as well. Basically, just want to give back to the community. This has been an absolutely amazing year for Warhammer Man Studios, for myself, and hopefully for the community as well. Absolutely loving all the people that have gotten on board, all the support, the kindness, the comments. We're building an awesome community right here. And honestly, none of it would be possible without each and every one of you. So I want to say thank you all for being members of the channel, for subscribing, liking, all the interactions and everything. And I hope this channel has brought some value to you in the same way that it has for me as well. So that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.